Most service-based business owners aren't stuck because they lack ambition. They're stuck because they're trying to sell a good offer to the wrong market. Or they're trying to do too many things at once without clarity. You're not lazy, you're distracted, you're spread thin, and building with the wrong assumptions. This episode, I'm going to compress the handful of lessons that I've learned over the years into one playbook: who to sell to, how to structure your offer, how to get better results for clients, and how to finally grow your service business without burning out. My name is Nickolas Natali. I'm the founder of a content agency that does organic content and runs paid ads for businesses. What I'm going to share with you today is adapted from entrepreneurs who have sold 9+ companies, have huge portfolios, from old podcast guests to trainings I've learned from, in real life application of what I've learned since starting my content agency. Here's the framework we're going to cover. 1, sell to rich people. 2, structure your offer to solve a valuable problem. 3, prioritize and simplify your business model. That one hits home for me. 4th, hire great people early, even if it costs more. 5, build infrastructure only when you're ready for volume. So most people try to be all things to all people. And when I started out, I undercharged and overserved. I was obsessed with being affordable because I wanted more business, but I didn't realize that made me forgettable. Clients would nitpick $50 items, ask for more than was agreed, and still leave unsatisfied. I'm talking revision after revision. It's like, my goodness, what is happening? Then I made a change. I repositioned my offer to solve a real problem, a problem wealthy clients wanted fixed and fast. I charged 10 times more and got better results for fewer clients. My revenue grew, my stress dropped, and here's why. Firstly, sell to people who can actually pay. You got to sell to people who have money and can afford your high ticket service, depending on what you deem as high ticket. If someone is paying you 10% of their monthly income, they're going to expect a miracle. $50 to someone that only has $500 coming in, you better work yourself to the ground, brother, because that's everything I got. But if they're paying you a small percentage of their income, they expect results, not hand-holding. They don't want to guide you through this whole process. They want you to take care of it. Get the job done in terms of results. You don't necessarily need a high-ticket product to do this. You need to solve a high-ticket problem. And that brings me to my second point. You do that by selling the outcome, not time or tasks. You're not selling logos. You're selling brand confidence. You're not selling ads. You're selling customer acquisition. You're not selling coaching. You're selling transformation. You got to create an offer that speaks to the result, not the work. Thirdly, get clear on what actually moves the needle. You don't need 3 businesses, you need one great offer. And most of the time, and this has been true for me, I want to start another business because I'm starting to get scared of the current business that I have. I'm starting to worry, well, what if it doesn't work? I better get another one going. Or I can just keep reaching the ceiling until I'm uncomfortable enough that I'm like, oh, I'm uncomfortable again. I'm just going to start over to back where I'm comfortable. And then I'm just going to grow that to the part where I'm uncomfortable again. You just do that over and over. That's not the move. And you also don't need a funnel, a podcast, 10 social accounts. You need clarity. Business success is equivalent to prioritization of limited resources toward the right constraint. And I can tell you my constraint right now. Think about what it is. Do you not have enough customers? Do you not have enough leads? Do you not have enough people helping you? Is it your sales? Is it your marketing? Is it your fulfillment? There is a constraint somewhere, and you're probably ignoring it. But keep it simple. So fourthly, hire up, not down. Your best team member might just be someone you haven't hired yet. Brad Clune was on the podcast not too long ago, and he talked about this idea of being a cultural bar raiser. And I think that principle can be applied to any hire. If you are hiring someone new to your team, do they raise the bar? Not just culturally, but also skillfully. Each member that comes into your business, if they do not level up and come in at a higher place than before, you're just going to average out or even start to decline. You need to continually be hiring up in terms of skill set. So don't settle for the affordable talent. Invest in people who can create leverage. And that might mean you're paying a little more so you can get your time back so you can take more sales calls, something of that nature. Fifthly, don't build for the masses until you're ready. Everyone wants to help everyone. Start by helping a few people a lot. My friend Alex Sanfilippo, also a former podcast guest. Look at this. Look at all these lessons learned from over the years. Alex actually said this a couple of weeks ago, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing it because I'm going to botch it. But he essentially gave this idea that if you are serving more people, but they're people that you could only serve half as well, you are... I'm already botching it. You get the idea. I don't know. I botched it. I can't say it succinctly. But essentially, if you're serving people that aren't the right fit, you can only take them so far. But if you serve the people that are the right fit, you can take them all the way. There you go. Also, infrastructure is expensive, and keeping your team, I've done this. I've actually hired too quickly and made too many systems before it was even necessary. You don't need to be a big conglomerate. You just need to be a premium solution for premium clients, and then you're golden from there. 6, let some fires burn. Everything is not a priority. If everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. There's that matrix. What's it called? It's basically high priority, high urgency, high priority, not urgent, not important, not urgent. That's a beautiful thing. Some things just simply don't need to be addressed right away. So blocking out 4 to 6 hours a day for deep strategic work is a necessity, and that must be protected at all costs. This year, I have implemented this by waking up earlier. If you know me in a personal sense, you know that I'm a night owl. But I think that 5 to 9 space is so important because the deep work needs to be done. So to think about it in another way, you build growth by doing the right things, not by reacting to every notification. There are still a handful of entrepreneurs that I know, and they tell me they still struggle with this, even though they built multi-7-figure businesses. And I too also struggle with this. I don't want to come off that I don't. But they essentially say that their days are all reactive. And I think that's the wrong way to go about things. Because if you just respond to every notification, you'll never have your own life. It'll always be dictated by something else. Anyway, got a little deep there for a second. Number 7 is branding is playing the long game, but it'll pay off. Warren Buffett, I saw a video of him the other day. Also going to botch this quote, but I will link to it in the show notes. He essentially was in court for something, and he talked about this idea, like, if you lose my firm money, I get it, lesson learned, you'll never make it again. But if you cost my firm an ounce of reputation, I will be ruthless. That's what he says. And I think there is something to that. What you say, what others say about you, and what people experience from your business is all incredibly crucial. So if you get results for clients, make them want to talk about it. And that's how you can build really solid equity for your brand. Number 8, the author of Atomic Habits, which I believe is James Clear. He talks about this idea of getting 1% better every single day because it compounds, similar to the S&P 500. But essentially, the whole concept is being bigger doesn't mean you're being better. Also, I've talked to a handful of entrepreneurs, and one piece of advice that really has stuck with me from someone who is also a former podcast guest. I won't name drop him for this one, just in case I've already botched enough quotes in this episode. But they essentially talked about the idea that when they were early in their entrepreneurial career, they thought that it was all about having the most employees and like showcasing who had the biggest company. And he quickly realized that that's all hoopla. It's all fluff. If like you should want to run a lean team and be amazing at what you do, because being better is better than being bigger if being bigger isn't better. You know what I mean? But it's true. All right, number 9 is know your inputs, know your outputs, breaking down your business into trackable actions. I've done this, and this has helped me tremendously. If you want a certain number of sales per month, how many calls do you need? And if you know your close rate and you know how many leads you can convert to sales calls, you can figure out that number fairly quickly. So how many messages does it take to get a number of leads to number of sales calls, number of sales calls to sales calls closed? You can reverse engineer those goals into simple, repeatable inputs, and it also helps you predict, if you're spending on marketing, how much you need to spend on average on your marketing. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing. I used to always fly blindly on these things and just hope that they would occur. And it really got rid of my feelings being involved in the process, because if I got 50 no's in a row and I know that I need to get to 100 sales calls to close 6 of them or whatever my conversion rate is, those aren't a deterrent. It's just closer to the goal because I know how many I need to do. It's all a numbers game. 10, the best people cost more, but they have a bigger payoff. And that's just the nature of the beast. Also, A players want to work with A players, so hire A players to build an A player team. How many times can I say A player? Additionally, if you hire people who can take you where you haven't been before, it is insanely valuable. I've had the opportunity in this past year to work with people that have a much different skill set than I do, and working on a team with them really opens your eyes to what is possible. And if you only hire people that you are the most competent in their skill set, what is the point, my brothers and sisters? You feel good? You feel good about yourself? It's not worth it. All in all, you don't need more tactics, you need clarity, you need a premium offer, and a path to real leverage. If you are ready to build a service-based business that scales without chaos, feel free to book a strategy call below, or you can download the free guide that I've created that outlines all of this stuff, and it'll help you build an irresistible offer, attract clients that can afford your irresistible offer, and install the systems that make it run. Or we could just do it all for you. So stop playing small and start selling smart, baby. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.